In Thrive Leads, there's an extensive reporting suite that gives you a lot of insights into where your leads are coming from and how you can get more of them. And in today's video, we'll have a quick look at all the reports. Hi, I'm Shane from Thrive Themes, and if knowledge is power, what we're about to look at is very powerful indeed. So let's jump right in and look at this reporting view in your WordPress dashboard. If you have Thrive Leads installed, in the Thrive Leads menu point, you will find reporting right here. So what you'll see is, this is the default screen you'll see. This is the conversion report, and up here you have a selection of different reports you can get. So the conversion report will simply show you the number of conversions that were recorded in Thrive Leads, split up by the different lead groups and opt-in forms that you're showing across your site. So you can see how the performance of different offers compare to each other. In this view, you see the performance graphed over time, and there's a different report called the comparison report, which is the same thing but summarized. So here in a pie chart, you basically see which offers or which forms are bringing in the most leads and how they compare to each other. What you can also do in all reports is you can change the date range. So by default, it will show you all the data from the last 7 days, but you have many different choices, including a custom date range. So whatever date range you want to be examining, you can simply set here. This report shows you your conversion rate, your site-wide conversion rate over time. So in percent, so here we can see 8%, 7%, 19%, and so on. And in this case, it makes a bit more sense to look at a longer date range here. So let's look at maybe the last 30 days. And another thing you can do here is, so you can see the progression of the conversion rate over time. Another thing you can do is you can change the intervals. So here we can see it broken down into weeks rather than days. And so that's something you can always change in this drop down right here. So this simply shows you overall, is your conversion rate across your site going up or down over time. The next report we can look at is the Cumulative Conversions report. And this will show you the number of conversions that are recorded in Thrive Leads, broken down by the different forms. So whatever date range you set, this will just start at 0 and on the first day, and then count over time how many new leads are coming in through different opt-in forms or different lead groups. So this essentially shows the growth of your list broken down by lead groups and opt-in forms. Now, a similar report that might be easier to understand and also in many cases can be more useful is the list growth report. So this represents how your mailing list is growing as seen by Thrive Leads. Every data point here shows us how many total leads across all our opt-in forms have been recorded on each day. So here we have 59 opt-ins on this day, 266 opt-ins on this day, 300 on this day, and so on. And another variation of this is the cumulative list growth report. And again, this is just cumulative, so this is a representation of the total number of people that have opted in cumulatively over this time. So, and this is as recorded by Thrive Leads. So there might be a similar report in your autoresponder system, but keep in mind that again here we always start counting from the starting day you set. Now, the main point of this report is to kind of see how this curve progresses. For example, if we switch this to a view of this year, here's what we see. And what you can see is, what we're really interested in is essentially the steepness of this curve, right? This is people piling onto your mailing list, and the steeper this curve, the faster the growth. And one of the things that you can look at here is, ideally, if you keep testing, you keep improving your offers and so on, you should see that curve increasing at a gradual rate or getting steeper over time. And if the curve is flattening out, that means it requires action. Now, the cumulative list report is more useful than just the pure conversion rate report, because the conversion rate on your site, in a sense, it's not that important, right? You might get a ton of traffic at some point, and it might be lower quality traffic, not as many people opt in. That means your conversion rate goes down, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? You don't always want to have the highest possible conversion rate. Sometimes you want to get the right people onto your list. And so with traffic fluctuations, your conversion rate can fluctuate. But this list growth report, this shows you much more clearly, you know, how many people are actually getting on your list independently of how much traffic you're getting. And in general, that should always be going up. That's something that you always want to be working on, getting more. So that is essentially a representation of your efforts of growing your list, and it's kind of a health report, right? Like I say, the steeper the curve, the healthier your list building efforts, or the better they're paying off. All right, next up, let's go to the lead referral report. And this tells us where our leads are coming from. So you can look at this broken down by domain or by specific URLs. The way this works is that anyone who signs up through a Thrive Leads form and was sent from a different website, so maybe they clicked on a link from a different website, came to your website and then signed up, this is what will show up here, the site that they came from. This can be very useful, especially if you break it down by domains, because it can tell you where your most valuable traffic is coming from. For example, if you do guest blogging, this is very useful because it shows you the thing that matters the most when you publish a guest post is maybe not necessarily, you know, how many comments you get on that guest post or how many social shares or even how much traffic from that guest post comes from that guest post back to your own site. What really matters is how well targeted is that traffic and how many of them will translate into leads on your own mailing list. And that's exactly what you can see here. So this is a great measure of the performance of different guest posts or the performance of other referrals that you've gotten from the web. And it can also tell you where you should go and pursue more traffic, right? This can tell you in a much more important way than just where am I getting traffic, where am I getting leads from? And it can help you pursue leads or, you know, reach out for guest posts, reach out for links and so on the types of websites where you're already getting the most leads as it is. Next, we have the lead tracking report, and this simply works with tracking links. So this works with the same tracking links that are recognized in Google Analytics and in pretty much every other analytics tool out there as well. And you can build these tracking links using the URL builder that I'm showing here. So the way it works is you enter your URL here, and then you can basically name the sources and media and so on of your campaign. So I'm just going to, you know, fill this with some gibberish so it's fast, but basically what you get is a URL that has these tracking parameters attached to it. And in your Google Analytics, you can then see what campaigns traffic is associated with. If you're using these types of tracking links anyway, you can also get this data in your Thrive Leads dashboard right here. So that's the lead tracking report where you can break it down. For example, you can see, you know, what are the campaign media that are sending me the most leads. And that's broken down by your own tracking sources. And then finally, we have the content marketing report. And this is actually such an important report that we'll create a whole separate post about it. But as a quick overview, what you can do here is you can, for example, break this down by blog posts, and you can see which blog posts are bringing in the most leads, and you can see which blog posts have the highest conversion rates. So this is probably the best way to measure your content marketing efforts, because here you can see the number of leads per piece of content. So that's an overview of all the reports that are available right now in Thrive Leads. And like I said, we'll have some separate content just on the content marketing report, and we'll also have further improvements and updates coming to this reporting suite. If you'd like to know more, or if you have any questions about this video, just leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.